This is Command Post, a series of discussions about military matters from Time and the Center for a New American Security.
Nora, does America's military personnel system meet the needs of the 21st century?
In a lot of ways it doesn't. A lot of the personnel policies that we have today are legacies of an earlier period of time. For example, the 20-year military retirement. After 20 years in service, you can retire with full benefits from the military.
Half benefits, I think.
Yes, full retirement benefits, half pay,
yeah.
and other benefits, that's right. That comes from a time when being a soldier was really hard physical labor, and so when you left the military, you couldn't find necessarily full employment. You couldn't count on a civilian job that would provide you with a full salary. That's not necessarily true anymore in the current environment. A lot of the compensation systems that are in place in the military, with a lot of the total compensation package being deferred to retirement at that 20-year mark and not having a lot in place before then, may not make sense in the current environment. Having a promotion system where there's an up or out promotion requirement that if you're not promoted by a certain period of time, you have to leave the service, may not be fully leveraging the talents of all of the members of the military and may make it hard to develop long-term expertise in some areas. So I think one of the things that we're going to see coming up in discussions in this area of constrained resources is a way to perhaps better allocate funds in our personnel system, because it remains one of the biggest expenses of the Department of Defense overall. It's
the single biggest.
The single biggest. It's very easy to look at big warplanes and naval ships and understand those costs, but personnel are the biggest cost. And we may need to rethink some of those as a way not just to save money, but more importantly to have a more efficient, more effective fighting force that can really meet the nation's needs going forward.
Well, John, you left the military after after
20 years.
Early, given your background and whatnot. How do you think it could be fixed?
I think that the all-volunteer force that we have, that we built in the wake of Vietnam, has been an extraordinary success. And no one could have predicted that it would survive the past 10 years of war. And it got a little bit shaky in the Army in the 2006 kind of time frame, but the all-volunteer force has endured. It was able to do so, I think, only because the American people, the Congress, were extraordinarily generous with the resources they provided. And we are paying an extraordinary amount in military personnel costs. I don't think anybody doubts that they've earned it over the course of the past 10 years of war. But I do think that we can find a way, while grandfathering in those who signed up during this time of war, who served during this time of war. I think that the deal that they signed up for is absolutely, I think there's a sacred contract between the U.S. government and the folks who have fought for it. I think that going forward, we can probably find a more efficient way to compensate folks who decide to join the all-volunteer military, which I absolutely think should endure, and can perhaps be fairer in terms of the allocation of retirement benefits, for instance. So we have a cliff retirement system. If you serve 19 years, 11 months, and 30 days, you receive no benefits at all, 50% pay for life, starting immediately if you make it to 20 years. I think that there's probably a fairer way to do that so that everyone who serves contributes in some way to a retirement program. And I think that can both save money, improve retention and recruiting, and also be fairer to all. And so I agree with Nora that there are some changes that can be made.